the idea that the Ark of the Covenant exists in Ethiopia.
The Church of St. Mary, Cathedral actually of St. Mary of Zion, where the Ark apparently was kept for hundreds and hundreds of years.
If we really find out the Ark of the Covenant was an actual object.
I think it was an actual object.
New CIA documents just resurfaced from 1988 that claims the Ark of the Covenant is real, and we have a location for it. Sounds the CIA's been using remote viewing for years.
For a long time. This is not wacky stuff.
The target is protected by entities and energies and can only be opened by those who are authorized to do so.
But I'm curious about these beings that are sort of guarding this thing.
Where in the world is the Ark of the Covenant? And people are claiming now that they found the Ark of the Covenant, and this all sparks because of Father Kelvin Robinson stating that the Ethiopian Orthodox Taekwondo Church claims to possess the Ark of the Covenant. They say it is in the chapel of the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion in Exum, Ethiopia, always guarded by a single virgin until death. The guardian is the only person who ever gets to enter the chapel. That is what is going on, and that sparks a lot of debate. That Wes Huff even chimes in. But before we check out what Wes Huff has to say, we're gonna go to Graham Hancock explaining what is happening with the Ark of the Covenant and what he thinks is going on with the Ark of the Covenant to Joe Rogan. And it's very, very fascinating. So let's get right into it.
You know, I first found out about you because of Fingerprints of the Gods. And one of the things that I found most fascinating when I started going into your work was the idea that the Ark of the Covenant exists in Ethiopia.
That's what brought me into this field. Before that, I wrote all about current affairs.
That story is so nuts, and it sounds so ridiculous, and people, you go, what? The Ark of the Covenant's real? But then when you go into the history of these people that lived there, and they all suffered radiation poisoning, and it's like, wait a minute.
Cataracts over their eyes.
Yeah.
And let's not forget that there's an indigenous population of Old Testament Jews in Ethiopia.
Right.
Make sure to keep on watching, because after we check out Joe Rogan's clip, apparently the CIA admits that they have located the Ark of the Covenant through remote viewing, which is all super skeptical and kind of creepy demonic type activities. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think.
Who have their own story about how the Ark of the Covenant got there.
Right.
Different from the Ethiopian national epic, which is called the Kebra Nagast, the glory of kings. That's why I got into this field. I was a current affairs guy, and Ethiopia was on my beat. And I just kept on coming across this story, and I realized it was central to Ethiopian culture. And I decided to investigate it and explore it, and it led to The Sign and the Seal, which was published in 1992. And that's what set me on the path to Fingerprints of the Gods and everything that followed that.
So who is getting the cataracts?
The guardian of the Ark. This is a monk who is appointed. The place is Aksum in the province of Tigray in northern Ethiopia. It's a massively interesting place. Aksum has these huge granite stelae. They're very similar in many ways to ancient Egyptian obelisks. They're a bit different in shape, but same sort of height, some of them going 110 feet high, cut out of solid granite, right up there in the highlands of Ethiopia. And then they have an ancient church, the Church of St. Mary, Cathedral actually, of St. Mary of Zion, where the Ark apparently was kept for hundreds and hundreds of years. Before that, it was kept elsewhere. And then now it's been moved into a chapel that stands next to St. Mary of Zion Cathedral. And that chapel is guarded by armed men. The whole town is an armed camp that is protecting what they believe to be the Ark of the Covenant, but it's guarded particularly by one guy who is the official guardian of the Ark, and he's elected by other monks to be the guardian of the Ark, and several of them have run away when they get that election, because once you're elected as the guardian of the Ark, when the previous one has died, you're going to be kept in that chapel forever. You'll never be allowed to leave it. So they're close to whatever this object is. They're close to it. And I met 3 of them over a succession of years, because their mortality is once they're appointed, they die very soon.
Wow.
And they all had these cataracts over their eyes, and they all blamed the object in that chapel, whether or not it's the Ark, for causing their blindness.
Wow.
So it's
and no one is going in there and trying to get to the bottom of it. They won't let you.
They won't let you. They won't let you.
Can we bribe them?
No.
Besides, apparently one person in 1940, according to Wes Huff, if this is the same place.
Someone should go look.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
Yeah.
What's in there? I mean, if we really find out the Ark of the Covenant was an actual object.
I think it was an actual object.
And you think it was some nuclear something or another? Like,
I don't know what it was. I think it's what is rightly described as an out-of-place artifact. Because if you look at the description in the book of Exodus, the very precise dimensions of it, I think in modern terms we'd say 3 feet 9 inches long by 2 feet 3 inches high and wide. It's got a layer of gold, it's got a layer of wood, it's got another layer of gold. It's very precisely specified, like a blueprint in the book of Exodus. And then it does all this stuff. It shoots out jets of fire and kills completely innocent people. It kills 50,000 Philistines in the city of Ashdod when they briefly capture it from the Israelites and make the mistake of treating it like a tourist object, and they open the Ark of the Covenant and look inside, and suddenly everybody in that city is dying, and what they're dying of is cancerous tumors. This is described in the Old Testament. So it's intriguing that this object is so precisely specified and is reported to have done these terrible things.
It's just insane that we know where it is.
Well, we know that I believe Ethiopia has a very strong claim to it, but that's all I can say because I've not seen it myself. I've been right outside the door of that sanctuary chapel several times. But
did you bring a Geiger counter?
No. That would be a good thought.
Yeah. Imagine it was going nuts as you got close.
That would be a good thought.
I mean, it's not like it's going to be, if it's radioactive, it's not like it's going to be contained just this one small area. You're going to have traces of it that leak out.
That's true. It would be a good way
especially if people are getting cataracts from being in the room with it.
Yeah.
And so 3 different people you talk to have cataracts from that.
Yeah, and they all blame the Ark. And one of them, it's a resonant phrase, which sticks in my memory. I asked him why, and he said the Ark is a thing of fire. Just that.
Wow. Did he describe it to you?
He did describe it as a box, rather like the biblical description, unsurprisingly. But
did he describe what it looked like the outside of it?
Gold.
Gold.
Mm-hmm. Gold.
Wow.
And of course, gold is a very good insulator against radiation. I don't want to go too far down this track. To me, the fascinating thing is that Ethiopia is the only country in the world that actually claims to have the Ark of the Covenant. That it's central to religion and culture in Ethiopia today.
That's really crazy to think about. Is it possible that the Ark of the Covenant could be there? According to the Bible, the last location mentioned of the Ark of the Covenant in the Bible is Jerusalem's temple, where King Josiah ordered it returned during his reign in 2 Chronicles 35:3. After this, the Bible makes no further mention of its location, leaving its ultimate fate unknown, though it is presumed to have been lost during the Babylonian conquest of Jerusalem around 587 BC. So in Jerusalem was the last time it was ever recounted. So why would it be in Ethiopia then? Now, according to the CIA, they claim that they know where the Ark is through remote viewing.
Shall we talk Ark of the Covenant? Because I've been waiting to talk about this all day. New CIA documents just resurfaced from 1988 that claims the Ark of the Covenant is real, and we have a location for it. Sounds like something out of Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, but it's true. And the CIA, according to these reports, says the Ark was confirmed to exist through remote viewing, describing a gold-covered chest guarded by powerful beings in an underground Middle Eastern chamber. Joining us now to unpack this explosive story is Jason Shurka, author of The Pyramid Code. Welcome back, Jason. Two crazy big stories that I'm in love with. We talked about the Egyptian pyramids this week, earlier in the week with you, and now we've got the Ark of the Covenant. It seems crazy. First of all, what do you think this revelation means, this CIA document? And maybe I'll ask you, do you think they're also maybe releasing this information now to distract us from something else?
I'm very glad you brought that up because it was a point that I was going to share, and I'm sure people have different perspectives on it. But let's cover what this thing is first, and then we can go over, again, just the factual essence of what's going on here. What do we know? What are we being told? What could be false? And 2 times in a week, how does this connect to exactly what was written in the Pyramid Code? So we know that in the Pyramid Code document, it already spoke exactly about what was underneath the pyramids. Well, it spoke about the Ark of the Covenant as well, with its exact location, where you can find it, and what it entails. So what the CIA actually declassified in those documents, once again, is not new information. It's just a big organization and agency coming out saying, hey, look, this is what we did. And by the way, we did it like 40 years ago in 1988. So this project is called Project Sunstreak, like streaking the sun. And it's using something called psychoenergetics. So you called something called remote viewing. Remote viewing is essentially this thing that is weird to most people, but it's very real. I've worked with remote viewers before. A lot of agencies work with remote viewers to find things that they can't find through traditional mechanisms like missing bodies.
That's insane that the CIA is literally using remote viewing. Guys, do you know what that is? That's literally psychics, mediums type people who just, I would say, access some entity and ask them where these things are. How else would you put it? That's so demonic. It's not using any technology. It's not using any information besides them just accessing some spiritual realm to see where these things are. And people just act like that's normal. The CIA talks like it's normal. And we have so many atheists out there saying that everything's just the matter of material. We just live in a material world. What? Come on. It's kind of messed up that the CIA is doing this.
So I work with somebody named Patricia Mona. She found 30 missing bodies for the RCMP in Canada when they couldn't find it themselves. And it's all done through this really weird mechanism, but it works because these very big agencies actually use them.
The CIA. The CIA has been using remote viewing for years.
For a long time. This is not wacky stuff.
Yeah.
It's not wacky stuff, but it sounds wacky because we just don't understand. What do you mean projecting consciousness out to a specific coordinate of longitude and latitude and being able to understand exactly what's there? So they did this in 1988, and I want to read something real quick from their actual declassified documents from December 5th, 1988. It was a session by, they don't give us the name, but it's called Remote Viewer Number 32, which means they used over 30 people in this experiment to do it. This specific session lasted 90 minutes from 9:15 a.m. to 10:45 a.m. on December 5th, 1988. And it says the following. Target is a container. The target is what they're looking for on the longitude and latitude lines. This container has another container inside of it. The target is fashioned of wood, gold, and silver. The target is similar in shape to a coffin and is decorated with seraphim, which are like these gold-looking statues. This target is located somewhere in the Middle East, as the language spoken by individuals present seemed to be Arabic. Visuals of surrounding buildings indicated the presence of mosque domes. I'm going to tell you right now that I know people are talking about, is it in Ethiopia? Because there's a lot of, Arabic speaking people over there. No, it's under the Dome of the Rock. And I'll tell you how we know that in a second. But it continues on by saying the target is hidden, underground, dark and wet were all aspects of the location of the target. The purpose of the target is to bring a people together, meaning a religious object. It has something to do with ceremony, memory, homage, the resurrection. There is an aspect of spirituality, information, lessons, and historical knowledge far beyond what we know. And then it goes on by explaining something which I can elaborate on further of what this means. The target is protected by entities and energies and can only be opened by those who are authorized to do so. This container will not/cannot be opened until the time is deemed correct. Once it is time to open the container, the mechanics of the lock system will be found to be fairly simple. Individuals opening the container by prying or striking are destroyed, meaning they die. By the container.
Dang, that's so crazy. And the Dome of the Rock, where is that, guys? In Jerusalem, not in Ethiopia. That's where the Bible says that it was last seen. All of this is so messed up, if it's correct.
There's protectors, meaning its energies, through the use of a power unknown to us. Now, it sounds weird, but that's coming from the CIA. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
this is like the sword and the stone.
Someone in the chat
Only
says,
the right people can pull it out, and the wrong people will be punished. And again, I get the vision of Atreyu going through those. Remember? Never ending
Sphinxes.
Never ending story.
Yes, when he goes through the Sphinx, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's like only those authorized. This is amazing. Sorry, I got excited.
So,
it's
okay.
Indiana Jones in real life. That's what's going on here.
I know someone in the chat said, man, Redacted, you guys became the woke history channel. I don't know about that, but I'll take the history channel piece of it. I'm thrilled about that. I mean, again, these are CIA documents, right? And so using these remote viewers and the documents before this, I mean, this has been around for a long, long time for people laying claim to what actually this ark means and does and holds. But I'm curious about these beings that are sort of guarding this thing. Do we have any more information about what these beings might be that are guarding this thing? What kind of energies?
Yeah, so I think that word is not the proper word to use. You're talking about something that is a very highly spiritual object and artifact. I call it a form of technology. And when you deal in that world, think about it scientifically as frequencies. There are certain frequencies that some people can touch and some people cannot, because if you don't have the proper vehicle to do it, it will literally electrocute you and kill you. For example, there are some people like monks who can walk on fire and not get burned, but me and you may walk on fire and we're going to get burned. That's what we're talking about with certain energies embedded into this thing. Remember, we're talking 4,000 years ago. This is around the same time of the pyramids as well. We're talking about a civilization, a society, a people that did things in a way that we do not understand today because it's forgotten knowledge. But what's interesting over here, when it comes to understanding its location as well, which is important, is, there are some people saying, it might be in Ethiopia. We don't really know. Well, the CIA documents are talking about it underneath some sort of dome, some big mosque in the Middle East. And then here's where the diversion, the distraction comes in. They say it might be here, it might be there, we don't really know. So I'm going to read something from a Daily Mail article that came out just the other day about this topic. And then I want to show you what the Pyramid Code has to say about this, because once again, just like it was on the money with what was underneath the pyramids, it did it once again in a few days. So it's speaking about, according to legend, Queen of Sheba and Israel's King Solomon, so this is history, gave birth to Menelik in her country of origin, but he later traveled to Jerusalem to study with his father. While there, he supposedly stole the ark and brought it back to Axum in Ethiopia. Locals say it has resided in the church of Our Lady Mary of Zion ever since. But then the British scholar of Semitic languages and Ethiopian studies, Edward Ullendorf, claimed that he saw the ark inside the church during World War II. But a source close to Ullendorf later revealed that the artifact he saw was nothing more than a replica. What he saw...
Yeah, that's true. That's exactly what Wes Huff said. And Wes Huff's, he says, there has actually been academics who have inspected the ark at the chapel. In the 1940s, Edward Ullendorf, U of London, said he examined the ark comprehensively and it was an empty middle-aged box. Tellman says it was never returned after the Babylonian exile in late 6th century BC. Says that it could be buried in tunnels Solomon made under the Temple Mount. Ooh, that's another one. Second Maccabees 2 says Jeremiah hid it at Mount Nebo. Wow, that's crazy. That's according to Wes Huff. Well, he's just stating just the idea of what's going on here. So maybe it's not in Ethiopia, or maybe it could be. But I wish they would show it. I don't want to see it because I don't want to die. Someone else can go check it out.
Was what you find in any Ethiopian church. It's a model of the Ark of the Covenant because they have replicas all over the place. They have decoys all over the place because you're talking about something of extremely high, not just historical significance, but spiritual significance as well.
Wow. So
in the Pyramid Code, a few days ago, we spoke about what was underneath the pyramids, and we cited certain things from that document that came out 5 years ago. Listen to what it says over here. King Solomon, King David's son, manifested the idea of the first holy temple, but it came at a heavy price to the people of the nation. The first holy temple was composed of 3 main parts: the main hall, The second part of the temple was the main temple, which contained certain objects. And the third part of the temple was known as the Holy of Holies, in which the Ark of the Covenant was. However, over time, and now I'm going to the bottom, it specifically says the place itself, which is known as the foundation stone, in the Dome of the Rock. So the Dome of the Rock, if you read over there, the Holy of Holies, also known as the Dvir in Hebrew, sat on what we know today as the foundation stone. In Hebrew, it's called Evan Hashtiyah, within the Dome of the Rock as we know it today. The foundation was used as a stand for the Dvir. The foundation stone had and still has very strong powers, and its geographical location is the energy center of our planet, as well as the energy center of everything as a whole. But here's where it gets interesting. If you go down, it says, in a straight line, deep underground, exactly what the remote viewer said, are the contents of the Holy of Holies, which are concealed there until this very day. The room in which these items are hidden, like the rest of the temple, was designed by King Solomon. And further conversations, if you want to call them, about the Pyramid Code, which is the series on Unified TV, further explain exactly where it is, roughly 180 feet below the base of the foundation stone, which is what the Dome of the Rock is actually built around on right now. It's called the Dome of the Rock because it's a massive dome over the foundation stone.
That's insane. Could that be the case? Could that be what is going on? Is that what they're hiding in the Dome of the Rock and has been there the whole time? That's fascinating stuff. I would love to know what you guys think in the comments below. That is for sure, because this one is wild. Yeah, I don't know. I don't deny that things could naturally happen because of the Ark of the Covenant. Or I've also heard different explanations saying that, well, God's presence is not in the Ark of the Covenant anymore because Jesus died on the cross for our sins once and for all, and he doesn't need to dwell in just one place anymore, dwells in our hearts. I've heard that example. But maybe some of these things from the Old Testament still have significance, though. I would love to know what you guys think, for sure. Very interesting stuff. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I encourage you to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't. I'm trying to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I know we can do it with your help. So thank you so much for all the love and support. It means the world. Have an amazing day, and God bless.